evening of your time as you create time to exist. Allow us to begin this evening of your time with an interaction as we remind you we entitled last week, Kachina Dreams. The idea of what you have for a very long time in your society, in the Native American society, called a Kachina energy, we have discussed from time to time, briefly with you. And we have given it, in your terms, our own labeling. We have called a Kachina being a Kachina consciousness, and extraterrestrials extraterrestrial. What this basically implies is that even to us in our civilization, the energy consciousness that is represented in your society by the Kachina exists in between, if you will, the universal realities that you and we are generally familiar with in calling our day-to-day universal reality. They exist and inhabit and actually create the membranes, if you will, the structure, the lattice work, the matrix, if you will, that separates and defines by vibratory frequency all the multitudinous infinite number of multiverses that there are in existence. They exist in the universe of the lattice work in between. Therefore, they represent a very peculiar and interesting and fascinating type of structure or vibratory relationship with the multitude of universes, and in a sense, because they are in between, so to speak, can project themselves from a particularly different point of view into any one of those universes and may manifest in any way, shape, or form they so desire to represent the energy through what you would call the archetypal clothing that any particular civilization in any particular universe would need to perceive them within in order to understand their existence at all. In other words, the Kachina energy does not really have a type of physiology as we understand physiology. No matter how different the physiology may be, even in what you term non-physical existence, it has a certain, shall we say, physiology to the energy. But Kachina energy has a completely different type of what we have referred to before as a quasi-planar reality, quasi-planar physiology. They are, if you will, a type of mathematical pattern in and of itself. They are, in a sense, actually made of the template which gives definition to all the things we, you and us, consider the physiological universe. They are the primal energy essence, cohesive consciousness in a very particular format that actually represents some of the primary pulse, if you will, of the existence factor itself. Is all of this making some sense so far? Therefore, they have the unique position of being able to branch out, if you will, into any particular physiological or non-physiological reality, taking whatever form is necessary to relate to the beings in that particular universe. And as such, they exist constantly in their zero rest point in a sort of unlocked state from any particular universal reality. They exist in that frame of reference that divides and at the same time unites all the different multidimensional universes that there are. So they are, in a sense, if you will, to be colloquial, the glue of existence in that way. They, thus, when they project into any physiological reality, will be projecting from a multiple, or you can look at it conversely, non-dimensional point, and as such can perform what you would consider many feats of magical apparition. For they are multi-dimensional beings and can extend any portion of themselves into any particular reality or a number of realities simultaneously. What you perceive them to be in your physical reality is almost always but an aspect or a fragment, a very minuscule aspect or fragment of the total being that is projecting itself. In a sense, it can be said that that entire matrix is one consciousness, with, if you will, many fingers poking into different realities all the time, coming and going, observing and reflecting back to itself all the different aspects in different universes of which it is a part and to which it is connected and in which it is interplaying with all of the reflections or mirrors or fragments of other types of consciousness, you and me, that it is interacting with from time to time. Its fundamental purpose in existence is to always create at any given moment with whom it is interacting an absolute reflection of what might be called the archetypal or primal power of the collective consciousness of the entire society that they are interacting with, or the entire culture at any one moment that they are interacting with. They are a prime archetype in that sense. And within any Kachina projection, any number of beings can see different faces, different aspects. They are in and of themselves multifaceted mirrors, constantly changing, constantly transforming. You can say they are the act of transformation itself. So they are very slippery. Their surface in that sense is very much like mercury, not literally, but in the sense of mercurial, that any being looking upon them will only see what that energy represents to that being. They have as many faces as there are beings in creation. They are, in a sense, a reflection of all the multitudinous facets in the multiverse in their own universal terms. So, when you, or should you, or if you desire the idea of blending and linking with that particular type of consciousness, that particular type of being, you can find yourself looking into many mirrors. You can use that energy as a tool to see, by reflection through them, every single personality aspect that you have created your persona to contain. You can, with that one interaction, interacting with what you may call the same aspect over and over again, review every single idea, every single mode of operation, every single pattern of consciousness that you can imagine yourself to be at any given moment. Review them, all of them if you wish, one at a time if you wish, and you can actually play, in a sense, with them by allowing them to reflect to you whatever particular aspect of your consciousness you are dealing with at this time, so you can actually have what appears to be a disassociated conversation with that particular portion of yourself. They are, in that sense, differently than you might think, but they are still, nonetheless, in that sense, very good at what you call dialoguing the entire individual, the entire persona that you are, and reflecting back to you in a whole truthful sense precisely the aspects of your consciousness you are dealing with at any given moment. So that is why they have been likened to, in your terminology, the path of a warrior in that way, and why those cultures that are very boldly able to live in different dimensionalities at once within their imagination, such as your American Indian culture, finds no difficulty in invoking these beings and calling them forth and interacting with them on what you would call a day-to-day basis. Because when beings are willing to be that open, then always they will be given by those beings an absolute reflection of the idea that they represent, the energy that they represent, the pattern, and the path, and the purpose that they represent at any given moment. So they are very good guides and companions in that way. But they are simply reflections. They never live your life in that sense for you, but they will show you what you are capable of being. They can show you your entire potential in a flash of light. They are, in that sense, quite the magical extension of all that you can imagine yourself to be. And if you so desire, by invoking that symbology, if you feel so inclined by using that tool, you can very rapidly flash through all the different ideas and fragments you have diversified yourself into and bring there together a thunderclap of integration within your very soul and elevate yourself and accelerate your vibratory pattern very rapidly, very easily, connecting not only to what you call the electromagnetic universality, but also to the planet upon which you exist. Very strong connections down into the ground and up into the heavens are made in the moment of the meeting of that lightning and that thunderclap. You all follow along? Sleep on this idea, for there is much more than just the words you are hearing being funneled through this idea at this time, and those that are receptive and those that have a desire to be receptive to the idea may find many unusual dream doors opening this night of your time, ones far different than those you have even opened up to this point. Therefore, at this time, even now, we will bid you exciting Kachina dreams this night of your time, And we will also at this time extend to you, once again, our unconditional appreciation and love for your willingness to interact with us and function as the ambassadors of your society and allowing me to function as the ambassador of mine. And in return for that wonderful gift you have given me, I ask you simply, how may I serve you?
Bashar, I have a brief request of Joan Bishop, who's our regular attendee. Her father passed away and last night, and she would like to know, she asked me to ask you if there was any information for the widow from the husband, her father.
Simply that this being, in our perception, is going to begin, quote unquote, a long journey of exploration in the non-physical realm, and within what you would call the next 3 days of your time, there can be a very loving communication in the dream state to assure those still physically alive that that being is perfectly fine and beginning to open eyes in ways that have never been opened before. So, simply receive, if you will, the kiss, receive the heart in the dream state within the next 3 days, and send the nourishment and the nurturing, what you call the bon voyage. It is not that that person is actually going anywhere. Their energy will be felt for a very long time, but they are beginning a type of exploration and a type of journey that will take them far into different realms for quite some time.
I thank you for Joan. Thank you.
Thank you. Sharing.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you.
That was very exciting information about the Kachina. I'm going to definitely tune in on that one.
All right.
Bashar, a couple weeks ago, a friend gave me a psychic reading as a gift. And when I was there and the channel was bringing through the information, one of the first things that she said to me was she said that I am surrounded by and have a very angelic energy. And I realized that that's something that I had been told over and over and over again, and I'm not really sure I know what that means.
Means you can spread your own wings and fly as high as you wish to. Means that you are, in that sense, aligning your vibratory energy with what is colloquially referred to as an angelic level of consciousness, which generally refers to levels of consciousness that have never experienced physiological reality. So in that sense, if you wish, now this is all, in a sense, a metaphor, an analogy. It has some literalness to it, but you do not have to take it completely literally in order to get the essence and the energy out of it. In a sense, let us say, you decided to incorporate yourself, even though you have very strong attachments to levels of consciousness of which the majority have never experienced incorporation in physical materiality. So you are functioning, in a sense, as a probe on your own behalf, out of your own choice, and are able to siphon back some experiences of physical materiality to those beings in that level that have never experienced physical materiality. And in return, they send their loving vibration to you to act as a guideline to always allow you to know the power that is within you for creating the reality that you desire. But you are, in that sense, as many of you are, as all of you are really, quite angelic in that sense that you can spread your wings, you can fly and elevate yourself to the highest levels of creativity within the physical realm. You follow me?
Yes, I do. And would they send back, like, some ideas of other realms that would come out in my work?
Yes. You have a capability of actually physiologically manifesting in many different creative ways ideas that are acted out on non-physical realms but have no physiological counterpart to express them by. So you can, in a sense, create a representative physiological counterpart for many expressions of consciousness that have not, to this point, expressed themselves in physical materiality. You can be their hands to sculpt out of the electromagnetic energy of physical reality a particular type of sculpture through which their spirit and idea and essence may be representationally living in your physical reality. You follow me?
I like that.
It is, in a sense, an art, and that is what we perceive you can project very strongly, very cleanly, and very purely with pure lines in any way, shape, or form you desire, through movement, through physical mass, through color, through light, through sound. Express the angelic art of the utilization of energy itself in that way. breathe life into those words.
And are there beings that are like guardian angels and that kind of thing?
In a sense,
they're in our
yes.
mythology, in our religious dogma.
Yes, in a sense. But again, remember that guides and guardians do not live your life. They simply nudge.
Right. Reflect, right?
They reflect.
Right.
They hint. They tap. They remind. Ever so subtly.
Yeah.
And ever so lovingly.
Thank you very much, Bashar.
Oh, thank you very much.
And by the way, how are the dolphins doing on Esasani?
They are perfectly fine.
Will they be put back to Earth one day? Are they being programmed in a sense? Not programmed, but...
Many of them do not want to go back.
I could understand that.
Or not for the reasons you may think. Simply that they are content to await the idea of the transformation to a certain point where they know they will be joined by others of their kind and by you. So that they also will be able to welcome you to foreign shores with something that you might recognize as familiarity.
Oh, I like that. But some will come back to help in our transformation?
Oh, telepathically all the time. They do not have to physiologically come back in order to be of assistance.
That's true.
They are sending from where they are, quite strongly.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bashar.
Sharing.
Good evening, Bashar.
And to you.
So my question has to do about polarity.
Polarity, all right.
The creation of it.
Yes.
Today, when I was thinking, what kind of came to me was, using the biblical legend as a vehicle maybe for this little exploration.
All right, go right ahead. Any analogy will do.
Okay. So I wondered if some kind of human conscious decided to manifest male, female. Okay, so then there was Adam, Eve.
In a sense,
Okay, so Adam is Eve and Eve is Adam because they kind of came from the same.
Each contains both ideas.
Right. And so I don't really believe so much that because of the temptation of some object, whatever this object was that created this polarity, I believe that it was the judgment of one of the other. Are you following me?
Yes. This is an analogy, the so-called temptation. The idea of the tree of knowledge of positive and negative is simply that. Knowledge and experience of polarity, of limitation, of high focus. So the choice, in a sense, to go into a reality and, in a sense, for a while, lock yourselves into a reality where you would know positive and negative as separate things rather than functioning as an integrated being, simply created the so-called quote-unquote fall. And all that means is you lowered your vibratory frequency so you could experience the physical reality of polarity. The idea of a fall is not a judgmental one in that sense. It is simply one of physics.
Well then, why did we want to do that? I mean, I hear
why
these
not?
things. Well, if it's why not, then why do we try to find out anything else?
Every experience is going on simultaneously. Every experience. This you simply happens to be focused at this particular idea, at this particular point in your timing. But the overall you is having many experiences on many different levels. Of course, it is part and parcel of this particular level to ask that kind of a question. Why am I here in this one when all the rest of me is somewhere else? That is one of the things that goes hand in hand with this particular type of experience, the ability to ask that type of a question. But the idea is that you did wish to explore all corners, if you will, of the universe, and this is one, equally valid with all other expressions. Also, in exploring it in the way that you have, to such a high degree of focus, you have had experiences that are quite unique and, in a sense, not really experienced by the vast majority, quote-unquote, of consciousness within existence. So highly focused are you, you have had discoveries and perspectives and attitudes and creations about yourself that, well, makes you quite a magnet to many other civilizations who are quite fascinated by the way you have gone about creating your reality. Also, this high degree of focus represents vast change within creation and all civilizations that are connected to you, including ourselves. You are catalysts. You are, in very many ways, what has been termed agents of change. You decided to explore the idea of the transformational powers of this particular physical dimension, and you have done it very well. So now you are going to explode in ever-expanding spirals of knowledge and experience to share with all other beings that are connected with you, including us, the ideas that you have learned and how now to put them into the expansion of creativity throughout the universe. It is simply, if you wish to put it this way, been an intensive study course.
Yeah.
But that is a wonderful experience. And we thank you for the choice that you have made.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
There are more... All right. There are more, shall we say, pragmatic answers to this idea in terms of representing your historical path as a group consciousness. You can also recognize that the idea of injecting yourself into physical materiality, as many of you know, can be a very pleasurable idea. Many of you simply found, at one point or another, that it was, let us say, unsuspected that the particular type of injection into physical materiality that you created would create a feedback loop to keep you in physical materiality longer than you originally anticipated. However, now you have played out the majority of that loop. And now you have recognized the ideas that you have learned. So, rather than simply playing what if, play what is. Since you obviously have made the choice to be in the physical realities you have made, play them out. It can be of great benefit to all beings that interact with you. All right?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Shirley.
Hi, Bashar.
Hi.
I'm very glad I have a chance to meet you, and I've enjoyed so much all the ideas that you've been giving us.
We enjoy reflecting your ideas back to you.
Bashar, I have been working a long time to improve the contact I have with my soul.
Oh, all right.
And
to improve the contact you have with your soul.
Yes.
Working a long time.
Yes. What I've been experiencing is that I often feel a sense of loneliness or being cut off from it.
Oh.
And once in a meditation, I tried visualizing from my soul's point of view how it saw me.
Yes.
And it had the same feeling. It felt like that my being here on the physical world cut it off from me, and it wanted me back with it.
Ah, that is very exciting. Do you know why you and your soul have the same feeling?
I would like to know why.
Oh, I'll tell you frankly. Because there is no difference between you and your soul. Only your human civilization has made a distinction. You are your soul. Your physical reality, your physical body is your spirit, is your soul in physical terms. So it was the same you choosing to feel the same way. That's why you got an answer from both sides. That was the same. You are your soul. There is no true connection that needs to be made between you because you have never really been separate, except in the illusions that you have created. You are your soul. Surprise, surprise. Now, what do you think about that?
Well, that sounds good.
Sounds good. All right. What else can it be besides sounding good?
Well, then why do I feel this yearning to connect with my soul?
That yearning is a yearning to be the soul that you are. In other words, to express your soulhood, express your spirit, to express the you know yourself to be. May I ask you a question?
Please.
Are you doing in your life the things that excite you the most?
I'm working on it.
Working on it, all right. Do you enjoy working on it, or would you prefer to be doing the things that excite you? Or is working on doing them more exciting than doing? Either is fine.
I'd rather do them.
All right. Then why don't you?
Well, yes. Some of them are a little expensive, like traveling. Abundance. Remember, the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it does not always have to come with the tool of abundance your society has taught you is the only tool that represents your abundance. Can come in many different ways. Doesn't always have to take money. It can. Nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't always have to. And sometimes money does not represent the path of least resistance and the quickest way you can actually do what you want to do. So, many of the things that are, quote-unquote, holding you back or keeping these things away from you are your assumptions based upon what you have bought into from your society since birth, that you have to do it in a certain way or it's not valid any other way, and you can't even imagine any other way it can be done, and will not let yourself believe that there are a number of other ways that it could come to pass. What you need is to relax your definitions about how you become what you think you want to become, and start acting like you actually are the thing you want to become. As soon as you start acting like the person you say you want to become, you will start having the type of life that person has. You will attract to yourself all the things that type of a person attracts, in whatever way, shape, or form represents your path of least resistance. Do you know that many individuals in your society as well, surprise, surprise, actually do a lot of traveling and never spend a cent? Are you aware that that's actually a possible thing to do? I've heard rumors of that.
Rumors, yes. Distant rumors from far across foreign shores. Now someone out there is traveling around and having a good time and not needing really much money to do it. Because of what they are doing, they simply are the definition that requires perhaps a lot of traveling, and therefore, one way or another, the traveling occurs, simply because they are someone who contains a definition that requires a lot of traveling. So if money is necessary, it comes to them. If the circumstances will come without the money, they come to them and allow them to be the idea they choose to be. Allow them to be the idea they are willing to act like they are. So, the idea basically, to explain it mechanically, is to follow what excites you at any given moment, because excitement is your physical translation of the vibratory energy that represents the path you chose to be. Therefore, when things excite you, contrary to what you have been taught by your society, it is that excitement that lets you know this is the thing you actually can do most easily. This is the thing you actually will be able to do most abundantly. This is the thing that represents most who you are, and therefore you will be able to accomplish effortlessly. That is what excitement lets you know. So why hold back? When something excites you, act upon it with your integrity. And every time you act upon something that excites you, that is the most exciting thing that you have the ability to act upon at any given moment, it will lead you automatically into whatever circumstances are necessary to give you the ability, whatever that may be, to act upon the next most exciting thing that will come along. And that will usually be on an elevated level. So if there is something you would like to do that is very exciting to you, that you do not believe you have the capability of doing now, all you need to do to create that capability is act upon whatever you can act upon that represents what excites you the most at this particular moment. This particular moment. And it will lead to every other idea, because excitement is a thread, and it is one continuous, unbroken thread throughout your entire life. So doing the things that excite you the most is what your purpose in life is all about. You are reincarnational beings, as we have said many times, but the you are now only has one life to live. Because you have never been this you before, and you will never be this you again. Therefore, the fundamental purpose to this life is to live it to the fullest, to be the fullest possible expression of who you happen to be at this moment. And the way you can do that most easily is to do what excites the you that you are the most. It's that simple. Now, we recognize that one of the greatest difficulties your society has in believing that you can do what excites you the most is in believing that it is that simple. Because your society loves complexity. Loves struggling. I really earned this good time. I worked hard for it. I suffered for years and years and years so that now I could deserve a little happiness. All right. That's one way of life. And if that's the way you prefer, then work as hard as you want. And perhaps someday you will give yourself permission to earn happiness. Even though, of course, you already deserve it just because of who you are. And you don't really have to earn it at all. So, the universe lets you know. Happiness, if that's what you want, right now, absolutely. We will not argue with you. We will even assist you in knowing what it is that would allow your life to become absolutely effortless and abundant. We will give you a clue. Call it excitement. But that's how you know you are in synchronous harmony with the idea that represents most who you are at any given moment. Is any of this making some sense, and does it seem workable for you?
Yes, thank you.
If you simply act upon it, we guarantee 100% you will attract the circumstances that will allow you to continue in that mode. It never doesn't work. No exceptions. Not even you. But the way to allow yourself the full benefit of that positive effect is to start functioning like the soul you actually are. And stop assuming that it is something somehow disconnected from the you that you are. You are your soul in physical terminology. That's all. So be the soul you imagine yourself to be. And you will expand accordingly. You follow me?
Yes, thank you, Bashar.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
And sharing.
Hi, Bashar. How are you?
Perfect, and you?
Very good. I'd like you to give me some information that's pertaining to my life now, whatever you think.
Oh, just anything?
No, but anything. About my career now.
About your career now?
Yes, in the future.
Oh, and the future.
Right.
Didn't ask for the past as well. How about the moon and the stars?
Why not?
All right. I will simply repeat the same question. Is what you are doing as a career the thing that really excites you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Really?
Yes.
Without a shadow of a doubt?
Right.
Then what are you asking me for? If it is that obvious to you, what do I have to say?
I know. No, I thought you might have a message for my teachers or something for me.
All right. Here comes one. Hi.
Very good.
Having a wonderful time. We see you are having a wonderful time. See you soon. Keep up the good fun.
Okay.
Lovingly yours, your guide. C.O.D. Now,
okay.
What career, pray tell, have you created yourself to be, if you are willing to share this with us?
I want to get in the I am in the metaphysical field as a hypnotherapist.
All right. Are you having a good time doing it?
I love it.
Do you love being of service in that way?
Yes, I do.
Do you find that you attract into your life the things that you need at any given moment?
Yes. Well, it's coming.
Coming. All right. Do you recognize that at any given moment you really do have what you really need to represent who you are willing to be at that moment?
Yes.
All right. So it is always one for one, yes?
Right.
All right. So the boldness and the willingness that you exhibit, whatever you choose to expand in, whatever way you choose to expand it, will see the reflection of that expansion in your outer exterior reality. May I ask you a question?
Certainly.
What do you envision and what do you imagine your art, your craft, transforming into in what you call the future? Is there something coming up that represents a different modality that you would like to function in, different from what you are functioning in now? Would you like to add something? Or delete something? Or alter something? Use a different kind of a tool?
Anything I can do to improve myself, any new knowledge certainly is always welcome.
New knowledge about unconditional love?
That too.
That too, all right.
Okay.
Do you have a desire to express unconditional love?
Yes.
Do you feel that you do?
Quite often.
Quite often, all right. All other times are conditioned. Now, does that mean that, therefore, you do not express unconditional love at all, since there are times when it is conditional?
Well, I don't think anyone, completely. I mean, we try, but we try or do.
Oh,
we have our ups and downs. That's life.
Oh, up and down. Oh, that's life.
That's a song.
All right.
Okay.
Whose life is that?
My life.
Your life. All right. Do you like ups and downs?
Definitely ups.
Definitely ups.
Right.
Do you recognize that you can continue to create ups and still have challenges, diversity, exploration, and discovery, and that you don't need downs in order to have variance in your life?
Right, absolutely.
All right. Then are you saying you no longer prefer downs?
Right.
Just ups?
Right.
All right. Then, is that an unconditional choice?
Yes.
In other words, no matter in what way, shape, or form your life manifests and attracts to you circumstances, situations, and relationships, you are willing to unconditionally assume that everything that occurs in your life is therefore a part of the ups and never a part of the downs.
No, I feel it's a lesson. Lessons you go through. Okay,
well,
experiences.
Yes, but lessons do not have to be downs.
No, that's right. Well, you look at a negative thing in a positive way and turn it around and make it positive.
Yes. All right. Then that is unconditional trust if you simply assume that everything is a part of the positive path.
Absolutely. Yes, I do.
All right.
Okay.
Then that is unconditional trust and love.
Okay.
It is that easy.
Okay.
Now, one moment. Experiment a little, if you have not already done so, with a tool that you call fluorite. Do you find this might be fun?
Certainly.
Oh, you don't have to do it just because I said yes.
No, sure.
All right. You may find yourself, in working with that tool, discovering a reflection, a trigger, that allows you to become more aligned with the actual electromagnetic field, by which you can create a stronger identification pattern with all the individuals that you give assistance to. So that you can, in a sense, truly become them, understand them, and therefore reflect back to them the idealized state they can create themselves to be, and create an electromagnetically conductive and conducive atmosphere for them to truly create revelations and spontaneous awakenings within themselves, even if they simply come within your biological field.
Look, I don't know how, fluoride in what way, I don't understand that again.
Fluorite crystal.
Oh, okay.
A bluish tinge.
Okay.
can be of best service to you to function as a trigger to align you to that particular electromagnetic frequency, and therefore create that spark between any gap that is imagined between you and those you serve. So that you can immerse yourselves in one fluid and know yourselves as one interaction. Not polarities, but one interaction. So that you can intertwine in an active love, and that active love will center and automatically heal anyone you come in contact with. Because only those that would be willing to participate in that act of unconditional love would be attracted to you. You follow me?
Yes.
Does this excite you?
Absolutely.
Then happy swimming.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We can also suggest that perhaps some play in water would be of benefit for you, and tune you in to other vibratory frequencies, particularly the dolphins, that can also assist you, because the dolphins have a very strong healing art. Very strong. And you may find yourself interacting with them and actually having, in a sense, telepathic discussions about ideas, just with your imagination, that can be of best assistance to you, in much the same way that the dolphins were of assistance to healers in Atalantean times by telling them of the things of the sea that would work for them as tools in their healing. So, swap tails. Yes, you may take that in more than one way. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
And we appreciate you very much. Thank you. Shirley.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you.
You said before that everything that happens in the world, in our lives, we have created. And it's,
one way or another, unconsciously or consciously.
Yeah, and it's all symbolic of something.
Basically, yes. All physical reality is a symbol for the ideas that you are creating yourself to be, for the interaction that you are creating yourself to be with yourself at any given moment.
Everything?
No exception.
Every little thing?
Every little thing. Now, different things may have, quote-unquote, relative degrees of immediate significance to you. But it can be no other way other than your willingness to co-create a situation with other individuals, and you have created every little thing in it. It is absolutely no accident that you are wearing what you are wearing in interacting with this group, the colors you are wearing, what you are saying, how you are standing. No accident. It is a part of the orchestration. It may have relative degrees of importance to different individuals, but by you being who you are, you create a backdrop against which all other individuals can understand who they are. So it is not an accident. Follow me.
Yeah. There just seem like there's so many little things that happen in life that just, I can't see any symbolic meaning in.
Again, they may not be immediately pertinent to you. But nonetheless, you form a part of the symphony. Any one note may not necessarily know why it is sitting next to another note. But from the whole scope, it is necessary to create the melody that comes out of the entire symphony. You follow me?
Yeah.
So you do not always have to have analytical awareness of the symbology of every little thing in order to simply know that you are supporting that framework for yourself and everyone else by being who you are. Does that assist you?
Yes, I will think about that.
Oh, all right. Have a wonderful time.
Thank you.
All your thoughts will be added to the collective idea of who you all are. Thank you. Shirley.
Hi, Bashar.
Hi.
I kind of like to explore the area about our 3 children that we have.
All right.
We have 3 daughters,
Yes.
and the middle one seems to be of a different energy than the oldest and the youngest daughter.
All right. It's
I
not that unusual.
I know. But I just wondered if you'd share something with me about the 3 children that you do have.
The middle can function as a fulcrum for the balance beam on which the other 2 are sitting. each one perhaps being a representative of an extreme idea, with the one in the center functioning as what you call a random element, to allow the triad that they are to experience motion, so it is not simply a static polarity sitting there staring at itself. The third creates the ability for the peak, the fulcrum, on which the balance beam can teeter and allow motion to occur. Things being played and exchanged back and forth from the two polarities on the end through the fulcrum in the middle. So in a sense, the middle child usually is the one who soaks up all that is going on for either child on either end, and can use it in very unusual and creative ways as a result. Because they are, in a sense, the facilitator, the communication beacon between the other two on different levels. You follow me?
Right, I do. The two youngest ones have been very, very sick for the last 2 days. And the middle one told me that her fever that she had gotten, she got while she was on Mount Shasta.
All right.
And I was wondering if anything you could tell me about that.
Simply that, when individuals open up to more energy than they may have been used to, sometimes that energy will be felt as a friction in the body if they do not think that their body can handle it. And the pouring of a faster energy through a slower body can cause friction, which can translate as fever. Okay. When the energy is acclimated to, then the vibrations will be balanced, they will be matched, there will be no friction, there will be no fever. It is simply symbolically representative of going up another notch, so to speak, climbing another mountain, so to speak.
Okay. Also, my husband and I did some workshops, and as you know, things can get a little unnormal.
Unnormal. Yes, you see, that was the whole idea of the workshop. To create unnormality so that you could once again center on your naturalness rather than your normalcy.
Right. Well,
you're simply out of practice being natural.
Boy, that's for sure. But our children seem to be going through this also, and they did not do the workshop.
But they are your children, and therefore you are one relationship. And they have done similar things many times, and they absorb things directly from you, and they reflect them back to you. And in a sense, they are acting like little safety valves, letting off some of the steam that you would not be able to really handle. You follow me?
Oh, I do.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that with me, and I just want to say I love you very much.
I love you very much. One suggestion. Stand around with your family in a circle and all breathe and exhale very deeply into the center, creating a new atmosphere that can support you all and letting some of that energy flow through you. All right?
Oh, that'd be good.
Do not keep it all bottled up.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For your family reunion. Surely.
Good evening, Bashar.
And to you.
I'd like to thank you for the recognition and connection with the Kachina energy.
Oh, thank you.
And also that the ending of the Aztec calendar, if I may share with everyone, is a symbol of people beginning to create their own time.
Yes. Colloquially, once again, the idea of the conversion.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your willingness to participate in such an exciting time upon your planet.
My question, which is for you, but also for everyone here, is simply, how may I serve you?
You go first. For all of you serve us already by simply doing in your life what excites you the most.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sharing.
Good evening.
And to you.
Okay. I could use a little bit of help.
All right.
Yes. I had reconnected with I originally thought it was a group called the Gold.
But you want this help from me?
Yeah.
Wait.
And anybody else, you can call in.
Oh, all right.
And anybody
all right.
else you can connect in with.
All right. Feel free.
Okay. It was called my impression was called the Golden Ring.
Golden Ring.
And less associated, a little bit less associated, Golden Wind.
Golden Wind.
Okay. And then I reconnected with him again recently. Less than about a year, then touched back into him again.
Connected in what way?
Just reconnected, like started communicating again.
So you mean telepathically?
Telepathically. And then at the original time, I thought that it was a non-physical or out of the universe existence, and that some members of the group had come to a physical existence, and then they had gotten lost, and then I had come to kind of help them get out. You know? And then my impression more recently changed. It changed from like being a group to like being I was an aspect of the Golden Ring. Like the expression came as I am of the Golden Ring.
Can be a group, can be one idea.
Okay.
These are not contradictory.
And that the purpose was to try to find the beings and also that like the beings had gotten stuck, so to speak, in a physical existence.
So to speak.
And then I also had the impression well, maybe it was just a fun game.
Same thing.
To do, and I had come to. So the whole thing boils around. I'm trying to find out
who your fellow club members are.
Not so much that is trying to resolve what I want to do in a metaphysical way with my life.
Right. Now, it does not have to be in a metaphysical way. I mean, there are individuals who have never heard the term metaphysics who are living, quote unquote, very full lives in every sense of the word. So it does not necessarily have to come with that connotation, simply to be the living of a full life, doing what excites you the most.
Okay. But I was still trying to follow along with this path that I had brought with me.
Yes. Well, all the clues will drop into place when they need to. It is perhaps a part of the spice that you feel is necessary to lure you into different areas of investigation so that you will learn the things you need to learn about yourself.
I feel like I'm already doing it, but I can't seem to sort it out a bit. You know, it's a little bit
sort what out?
Sorting out what I'm doing and trying to figure out what excites me the most and which way to go. Excitement's a little bit confusing.
All right. Well, why are you here this evening of your time? Did it excite you to come here?
Yeah.
All right. What will be most exciting for you to do when this interaction is over?
Make it change.
Yes. Will you go home?
I'll go home and go to sleep.
All right.
That's the most exciting thing, but that's what I'm going to do.
All right. If something came along that you thought were more exciting, would you do that?
Yeah.
All right. Are you sure?
Well, perhaps.
Well, perhaps. All right. You see, the idea is to keep it simple and take it one step at a time. When we talk about the things that excite you the most, we are not always referring to the idea of having to know the thing that excites you the most in my entire life that I will ever conceive of. It simply means the thing that excites you the most right now. Right now. Right now.
For some reason, it doesn't seem to satisfy.
Doesn't excite you.
It doesn't satisfy me. It's like I have done, and I have ability to do several things, and what is called metaphysics. I have traveled for some period of time. I can heal people.
Yes.
Without,
This is all channeling. Remember that channeling is only doing what you really love to do.
Mm-hmm. I like doing it. It's like.
What else do you think you wish to be doing?
I don't know. I'm trying to sort between.
All right.
That I've done.
May I ask you another question?
Okay.
Why must you assume that you should be doing something differently other than what you are doing?
It just seems that I'm not putting enough. I do the things that excite me a relatively small part of my life.
Why? Why not make them your whole life?
Well, that's what I came to try and sort it out.
Well, what is there to sort out? All you have to do is act upon the opportunities that present themselves in your life that excite you. And then you will be doing all the things that really excite you. Do you not believe that's possible?
That's true. But I realized something while I'm waiting, and that is part of the thing I had rejected was the healing of like spiritual healing of people.
Yes.
Because I have a consideration that I was wanting to let the people heal themselves.
Well, they always do.
Right.
Always.
But for them to realize it on a conscious level instead of being in the position of healing someone and then you have someone perhaps worshiping you.
Well, why don't you simply say, after you have assisted in the healing, you did that, not me. You allowed me to assist you. You allowed me to create a conducive atmosphere in which you gave yourself permission to heal yourself, but you did that. That's how powerful you are, you see? Now, why don't you share that information with them?
Okay, I can do that.
Well, yes, you can.
And one more little thing.
Oh, all right.
It becomes from your description of the Kachina.
Yes.
It seems, I don't know if we're all related, but it just seems that there's some connection. I might have some connection. It just seems so close.
Then follow your instinct. Follow your imagination wherever and whenever it may take you. Your imagination is there for a reason. Start relying on it a little more often. Perhaps all the time if you wish. Use your instincts. If your instincts tell you that individuals, in that sense, are healing themselves, share the good news with them. If your imagination and instincts tell you there's a connection here with this Kachina energy thing, follow it. Follow it up. Follow your nose. And you will discover exactly where you need to be. You see, the idea of doing the thing that excites you the most is all hinged upon that word, doing. This is a world of action that you live in. So when you have a gut punch, when you have the instinct and intuition and imagination to know what you're all about, act like it. And act like it fully. Carry through the entire idea. You don't have to be a healer that quivers at the thought that somebody else might give you their power away in that sense to you, and that you might be worshipped in that sense. You don't have to be that definition of a healer, if that's not what you prefer to be. So don't act like that definition of a healer, and you will not find individuals coming up to you saying, please take my power, please take my power. Simply say, no thank you, I have enough of my own. That's yours. I can't use it anyway. You follow me?
Yes.
Create the environment and the attitude that you wish to create, so that the interactions that take place will all take place within that attitude, within that environment. Why assume it must take place in any particular way? It will take place in the way you prefer it to take place. Okay. It is that simple.
Where, do you have any idea where to follow up the Kachina energy, or any way?
You have an idea. They have ideas. Listen to their ideas. Pick the one that moves you the most. Follow your instinct. Follow your imagination. Now, when you first heard the idea of the Kachina energy, what pictures did you get?
I don't have any pictures of such.
Well, what
immediately picked up on it, though. I connected on it the first time I heard it.
All right.
I thought there was a connection there.
Create a picture now. Think. Kachina. What do you get? Any images at all?
It's a big, bright light.
A big, bright light. All right. Does the light have a name? Does it have a direction?
It appears to be like a circular pattern.
All right. All right. Like from your sun. All right. What does the symbology of the sun represent to you in terms of the places upon your planet?
Source of energy, light.
The places upon your planet.
Sun?
Yes.
I don't understand.
When I say sun, what is the first place you think of?
Up.
Up.
Looking up.
Looking up. All right.
Okay.
One more time.
Okay.
Places upon your planet.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Sun.
From Central America.
All right, Central America. On the Yucatan? Maya. All right, in the Mayan area. Then, do you feel like going there?
Yeah, so far I've gone there several times. I haven't I've been close. I think I've ever been exactly Costa Rica, Panama, but never. And I go to Mexico all the time.
All right.
But I haven't been to that part of Mexico.
All right. Do you feel you need to go to that part of Mexico? Or are the parts that you visit sufficient? What about New Mexico as opposed to Old Mexico? Anything there? Any bells?
I like Arizona.
You like Arizona? Why do you like Arizona?
I've been reading about Arizona.
You've been reading about it?
Arizona. I visited there several times. There was interesting enough, there was a tribe of Indians called the Anasazi who disappeared in Arizona about 1300.
Yes. And what interests you so much about that?
Just that part of the legend is that they may have traveled to a different dimension. That they returned to a dimension from which they had come.
Well, wouldn't you like to find out if that's so?
That's interesting, yeah.
That's interesting.
I'm more interested in what I'm doing, me doing it.
What makes you think that's not a part of you?
Yeah, that's good.
And what makes you think that what you're doing won't find connections there?
That's right.
You see, the idea is to begin to look at everything as a part of what you are doing. If it interests you at all, there must be a reason for why it interests you.
Yes.
So follow it. It may not play out as you expect, but you will get out of it what you need to be who you are. You follow me?
Yes.
There will be more information coming to you very soon. Not from us, but from another source. Thank you. Thank you. Jerry.
Hello, Bashar.
Howdy, Straw.
How you doing?
You know,
what?
It is wonderful that we can talk at this moment.
Is it?
Yes,
Right.
for I have something to share with you.
Go for it.
Now, we have spoken many times about the idea of doing the things that really excite you, yes?
Yes.
And we have spoken many times about different ways of manifesting these ideas into your physical reality, yes?
We have done.
Oh, wow. No way, shape, or form are we calling up any shortcomings on anyone's part. However,
here it comes.
I can now give you a little bit bigger hint than I was capable of doing before.
I'm glad your capabilities are good.
Thank you. This is only a reflection of your own increased capabilities and awareness. Remember the strawberry patch on Epiconic. And you know how you are dearly waiting to experience the planting of the strawberries in that patch with us.
No, no more.
Ah, no more? Why not?
Well, I can simultaneously be planting them with you. My awareness is expanding into heaven.
Ah, yes, that is so. However, there is one idea you may have missed.
Yes.
Why not plant the patch on Earth first?
Yeah,
so that there is a doorway at both gates.
I like it.
You see, that is what we are really saying in terms of playing out your dreams. Play them out where and when you can. And that is what brings the full dream into contact with itself. But until there is a matching vibration on this end has nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the patch will be planted very shortly.
Well, that's up to you.
That is up to you.
But we would find it most exciting if you did.
I would. Fine. Let me ask my question.
Yes.
traditionally in our culture, as masters of limitation, we have created well-defined focus in being separate from individuals, and let's take the manifestation of physically separate to the point where when someone dies or someone goes in a direction that is
out of your dimension,
out of our dimension, we experience loss, or the feeling, this particular emotion that is defined as loss, grief, sadness, the feeling of missing the individual. And I've been practicing, and at times I'm very well able to get the feeling of them not being separate, yet there is still the non-focused physical dimensionality when someone is. Okay, I would like some suggestion in accelerating the transition to the point where it is as physically satisfying as when they are physically present.
Do you like what you call the traditional form of meditation? That is, sitting quietly, closing your eyes, centering yourself, and truly stretching out with your imagination.
Yes, I like it very much.
All right. Then what you can begin to do, when you are rested, not when you are tired, when you are rested, but still in a very dreamy state, which is especially good when you are not in an excessive need for a nap, but nonetheless take a nap during the day. Then, as you simply drift and float in your imagination, begin to defocus yourself and project yourself into their reality or what you imagine it to be. And therefore go to them on their terms. And you will begin to feel your heartstrings being played by those consciousnesses. And you will know very certainly, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that they are there and you can speak with them. But you see, the idea is more often than not that you will speak through the heart once they are in that defocused state. So we simply suggest that you expand and diffuse the idea of your limited focus of yourself and play their game. In that sense, meet them halfway, rather than assuming that they have to come all the way back to let you know they're still around.
In other words, create a vibratory frequency that is in harmony with it.
Go to the threshold between both worlds. Yes, and also the strawberry. Create that reflection on your end of what you imagine that end to be like. And then you will be able to meet them halfway because you will begin to speak their language. You see, many times individuals do, quote unquote, make an attempt to communicate back to physical reality, but no one's listening. Because they do not listen with their heart. Because they do not listen in the same way that they are speaking, in that diffused and open manner, non-focused manner. So, enjoy those imaginations, and you will begin to hear the music from the other side.
That's fascinating. It's also applies, I noticed that, for instance, when an individual who is in physical dimensionality is separate from that the difficulty in, the apparent difficulty in getting them is because I am imposing a particular structure.
All right.
Very interesting. So that's so the allowing the particular way in which they need to manifest to be focused, and then allowing the mutual creation outside of our individual focus. Yeah, I got you.
Do not be afraid to really redefine the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you're interacting with me now remotely, eh? You follow me? Because to a positively oriented being, everything is an interaction of one type or another. Because that's all there is. Interaction is all there is. The individuals doing the interacting
are the interaction that creates the apparent illusion of individuals doing the interacting. You are the interaction. So how can you possibly be separate? A coin cannot have one side.
It is again recreating that awareness rather than the traditional awareness.
Yes. Good goal. All you need is a little more boldness with your definition.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
My friend.
Getting? Hi.
I'm wondering if you can clarify something for me. Lately,
I don't know.
Okay, let's see if we can work on this together. Lately,
you can work on it.
Okay. Lately, I've been feeling a mechanical kind of metal feeling coming through my crown chakra and pulling out and trying feeling also breaking through my throat.
All right.
Okay, and I'm wondering if that is a channeling or if that is the beginning of a channeling. And I'm wondering if my ear and throat problems that I've had the past year is a result of me not allowing that to come through.
To some degree, but it is also a memory. To some degree, it is a connection of a past life memory. And some of it has to do with ordeals, as you call them, that you created in those lives. That have to do with listening and speaking. And a fear to do so again so that you will be put through the same ordeal. You follow me? Now, in a sense, it is more of yourself breaking out of the shell. And some of those cracks can feel like a strain for a while, until you recognize that the shell has the ability to expand rather than break. Get a little more rubbery. If you feel this energy to be so mechanical, get a little more rubbery. You follow me? Soften it in that way for yourself. It is never going to push faster than you are capable of taking. But you may be creating the assumption that it is doing so, and therefore creating the so-called difficulty that you are having. Now, what would you say if you would allow yourself to say what you know that energy would say?
I would say the teachings and the experiences that I've had in this lesson, but I'm conscious of them, the duality of what I'm doing.
Repeat after me. A reminder for you. More laughter. More laughter. Resonating in those caverns. More laughter. Relax the muscles in your throat. Relax the glands. Relax the secretions. Let yourself be lubricated. Let yourself be smooth as oil. Let yourself Be honey sick, but not choked, nor gagged. Let yourself breathe the sweet atmosphere of the knowledge and the light and the beauty that you are, and smell the flowers and the fragrance in nature. That fragrance, in an herbalistic way, can assist in clearing and purifying and freshening and opening some ideas of mint, some ideas of evergreen for you. Very strong. Evergreen. Very strong. Breathe the evergreen air. Breathe the evergreen air. All right? Energy is yours. Dip into the well and drink of its pure crystalline water. Drink and refresh and soothe the parched ideas that you have come out of. The desert is over. Follow it.
Thank you.
Rejoice in the evergreen air of the high slopes of the mountain. We thank you. Pleasant dreams. At this timing, you may all enjoy a short break. We will resume contact momentarily. All right, I'll say, continue.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you.
I'd like to share something.
All right, by all means.
Yeah, last week I had a realization that about my dream I'd had that morning before. I'd been dreaming it was Saturday morning, and I had this whole day to do it as I pleased, and I was going to go to the Good Earth and eat breakfast and read for a while, and then my alarm went off at 5:30 and reminded me this was a work day. And I thought that was just interesting, but what I realized was the job I had last year, I was working about 6 hours a day. I had a lot of time, actually, and but I was so aberrated on the subject of time, I wouldn't even ride my bike to work because it took an extra 10 minutes. I had computer programs, and every one of them took too long. I was just going nuts on the subject of time.
All right.
And so recently I've had a job working 7 to 7 and driving over the hill 40 minutes each way, and I realized from the dream that I'm not hung up on this time anymore. I've got all the time in the world.
Yes, you do. All the time in the universe. All the time in creation.
I realized
because you created.
Right. I realized I think it was because something I heard on one of the tapes where you'd pointed out to someone that they were overextending themselves. Anyway, whatever it was, I'd like to thank you for that reflection because it has been improving the quality of my life.
Thank you for choosing to do so. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your choice in that way.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. Shut it.
Hi, Bashar.
Hi.
He's waiting for me to finish laughing.
That will never end. Be waiting long time.
I'm at a basic standstill.
A basic standstill. All right. Is that off the shelf?
No clue. Can you say there is a space that I like being in more than any other?
Which is?
Feeling like everything is equal.
Yes.
That there is absolutely no big deal.
Yes.
None.
Yes. And yet?
And yet I always go back to little issues that distance me from that. like reputation. You know, I play out in my mind's eyes, what if? What if I did something absolutely horrendous?
All right.
You know, da-da-da-da-da, in order to really understand for myself what unconditional love really means.
All right, you're playing what if.
Yeah.
What about so what?
Yeah.
Well, what if I did something really horrendous? Well, so what? What if, so what?
Yeah, okay. I guess it's just a matter of me really believing that.
It can be a matter of you simply trusting your conscious commandment, really believing that you have the conscious ability to do what you prefer to do, and that if you consciously know what you prefer to do, there is no reason to assume that you will do what you don't prefer to do, because your conscious commandment has that much power. Right. Is it perhaps a matter of believing you simply consciously have that ability? That you can simply know what you're going to do and what you're not going to do?
No, I think it's a matter of willingness to even act.
Willingness to act?
At all, because I'm sick of being within judgment and very much crossing my arms and saying I'm not budging until I really feel free without judgment. I mean, it doesn't have to be a complete 100% free of judgment, but enough so that I want to act.
You see, the paradox of this situation is that standing still, therefore, is a judgment on everything. Acting is the cessation of the judgment. But you must act in order to cease the judgment. If you stand still while you are waiting to be free of judgment, you are compounding your judgmental interest. Because you are refusing to act upon the things that motivate you. And that is a judgment in and of itself. You follow?
I mean, I'm sure you're right, but I don't really...
You do not have to be sure I am right. The idea simply is that judgment is the cessation of action. It is the invalidation of motion. It is the idea of ultimate limitation and confinement. So refusing to act in that sense is the ultimate judgment on every single one of those actions you represent and do understand represents your interests in life. The action, the trust of the action, is the cessation of the judgment of that action.
Okay.
Is it too simple?
No. Okay, I have another one to move on to. You speak of integrity a lot.
Yeah.
When I was taught what integrity was all about,
yes,
to me it was taught in a negative way, or at least for me it was a negative way to say it. The way it was told me was, which I broke out of later and later had miracles and no judgment.
Yes.
The way it was told me was, well, you can't possibly love yourself if you're not acting within your own integrity.
I see.
And thus, one becomes, or I did, a bit of a robot, because at first it was wonderful to be in touch with that.
Afraid to be a rogue, eh?
Huh?
Afraid to be a rogue. You know, those individuals that do all sorts of what you call dastardly things and think they're just grand. I am just wonderful. Look at all these horrendous things I have done. You can at least like yourself a lot, even if you are a rogue.
Right. Okay. That was the biggest issue that I had bought into that extensively for like 3 years.
Yeah. And now?
No, I don't think that I really buy into it.
Well, all right. Then why the cessation of action? Do you really believe, it is all right if you really do, but do you really believe that you would choose to create something horrendous?
No.
Well then what stops you?
I don't know. I think lack of desire.
Oh, lack of desire. All right. So you're saying nothing interests you whatsoever, except perhaps standing still for the moment.
Right.
Do you find standing still fascinating?
Sort of.
Sort of. All right. Do you understand what absolutely perfect standing still represent?
Something like ultimate action or blah, blah, blah.
In a sense. Blah, 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 blah. I could not have said it better myself. We have discussed the idea that when you are moving at infinite speed and are everywhere at once, the same feeling of standing perfectly still is created.
Well, I think that's where my desire for accepting all experiences, not just experiences that are within integrity. That's why all these dastardly things,
All right. We understand to some degree what you are going through in the sense that you are now collecting and recognizing in the collection of all things everywhere that you do accept the negative as well as the positive side of yourself. But accepting that, balancing that, and blending that has absolutely nothing at all to do with what portion of that you choose to manifest.
Yeah, okay, but what are these... I mean, I'm with you on that I would not choose to do that most likely. Let me just leave that little bit open for the moment.
All right.
I don't know. There's something about it that is not ringing great for me. It might have something to do with the way I was taught about integrity, but there's always that, though I would prefer probably not to, right? It just seems like, wouldn't it be an invalidation to say not to? Wouldn't it be invalidating to say don't behave out of integrity?
Well, in a sense, it is judgmental,
Yeah.
But the idea is simply a matter of recognizing what you prefer to do and whether or not you are actually exemplifying what you say you want, or whether you are, in a sense, fighting your own integrity, fighting your own ecstasy. Whether you are creating a so-called contradiction or not. Going upstream, going with the flow. Yes, in a sense it is judgmental to tell an individual that is fighting their ecstasy, don't do that. But it is not judgmental to say, you don't have to do that.
Absolutely.
All right. And there is many ideas that certainly can be explored in the act of standing still. So perhaps you are excited about exploring all the different ideas, the multidimensionality that comes out of the act of standing still. For if you are, in that sense, choosing to stand still, then in a sense, that's an act.
Mm-hmm.
It is an action. Now, if you, quote-unquote, use it after having made the choice that you will stand still, then you can use it in positive ways. And the act of standing still does not have to be an act of belligerence. So you can transform even the idea of standing still into an act of creative expansion and explosion. Perhaps it is simply that you will go ultimately inward instead of expressing yourself outwardly for a while.
Okay, I think it also has something to do with this feeling that somebody is watching me. That
somebody is watching you.
Yeah, other than myself.
Everyone is watching you.
But I think you know what I mean. There is that sense of I haven't really let go of the fact that it's me that will ultimately look at my life, yada, 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 yada.
Ba, 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 yada, 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 yada. Fascinating language. Why does it bother you, this idea that someone is watching?
Because I feel that I would be more likely to perform, and that's something that I would much prefer not to be doing. If you know what I mean. I know the whole thing, the whole karma, the whole this, the whole that. I know you've clarified karma to a great degree.
Okay.
But I don't know. Somehow there's still that reputation to uphold. I don't feel free to honestly do whatever I want to be doing. I still feel a little bit like it really, there are limitations, there are whatever, there are...
All right. Of course, you're absolutely free to feel that way.
Okay. Well, all right. Thank you.
One moment. While you are standing still, one suggestion can be to function as a singularity. Are you familiar with the term?
Yes, I am.
See what happens if in your imagination while you are standing still, you function as that singularity, and see if you propel yourself, through yourself, into another universe. See who you meet. Have dialogues with all that you do. And you can go on a wondrous journey that will create the type of conversation that will allow you to come to terms with the idea of who is doing the watching and who is being watched. And when you find them both to be yourself, then we shall see where you choose to go from there. But play as you will. You are free to do anything. Even consider yourself not free. That is how powerful you are. All of you. That is what being a creator means. Pleasant dreams.
Thank you.
Shouting!
Hello, Bashar.
Hello!
I'm very, very happy to be here tonight. I've known for a long time that I'm from Orion, and I miss it terribly. And so this is very exciting to me.
Well, you'll have lots of friends.
Yes, I know. That's part of what I wanted to ask is, since I was very little, I knew that I belonged in Los Angeles and have been drawn to the movie industry. And through hits and misses, I've been in and out of the area. Now I'm back permanently. And lately, I've connected incredibly in my office building and with people who I recognize as old friends, and there are some with me tonight, and others from Orion who say, yes, I'm from Orion. You know, it's like, hey, I'm from Des Moines. And it's fabulous.
What planet is that?
Well, you know, stick around. We'll show it to you sometime.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. But it's tremendously exciting. And all of us are feeling a tremendous connection and a sense of urgency and a sense of anticipation. And, like, even that electrical storm last Saturday seemed to affect all of us in such an incredible way.
It's not what you call your ordinary storm.
Well,
it was a great release of electromagnetic activity in your consciousness.
Well, all of us have been feeling the results of that. And I'm fascinated with, as I said, the connection, even in this office building where we are, in this particular hallway where we're working, we're all coming together. And it's
exciting.
It's tremendously exciting. Is there some...
Electrifying.
Yes. So is there something that we're going to be working on? Is there something in the movie industry? Because this is centered by Universal Studios. Is there something... Because that's what I feel drawn to. Is there something... There's a powerful influence of the movie industry on people.
Yes.
And I'd like to be connected with that. Is there something coming up that...
Yes.
What? If you please.
Only that individuals, as we perceive it, are moving into position and will co-create at least 3 manifestations, 3 expressions you call film, that will function as a trilogy, as a triad, that will take many individuals to another level altogether. Because they will be utilizing the medium, pun intended, for what can be truly gotten out of it. They will understand the interrelationship between matter and mind. And in this way, transformation can truly be created at the flick of a switch. Now, the structure of the message can be gleaned out of all the individuals present that you are associated with, and in recognizing those that also are connected to the pattern, and in looking at the pattern itself, and in recognizing the entire story, one having to do with the origins, one having to do with the transformation, and one having to do with the integrated result. 1, 2, 3.
I hope I will be connected with that in some way.
Why hope?
I will be connected.
You
with
are
it.
connected.
I am connected.
Or you would not have the capacity to ask the question you have asked. For you would never know about it.
Well, I feel this is what I've been drawn to for many, many years.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Be creative. Trust your instincts. Use integrity. It is what the whole Orion idea now is all about, the blending of the polarities of the old negative and the new positive into a new light, a new balance, a new home. Earth. You follow me?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. Shooting.
Thank you, Bashar. I'm sitting there just laughing because I responded when you said about creating gateways here on Earth so that we can link up with the gateways on your planet and elsewhere throughout the universe, the infinite universe. And what the little piece that I've been carrying around, building it gradually for 6 years, I've been calling the best game on Earth. The goal of the best game on Earth is to create peace, prosperity, health, security, well-being, joy on Earth together by the year 2000.
Sounds like fun.
Doesn't it, though? And the game is basically an interactive media game which involves television and radio and print media where we tell the true story of real people's lives and real entities' lives as we live out our lives joyfully and start piecing together this new reality that has been talked about a great deal here and in other places around the country, and I'm certain throughout the universe. And then having a 900 number up on the screen, if you want to get involved, call. And then begin to let people organize themselves into the new pattern so that people can go where they will most gain out of this game. And just this last little segment here, it was just such a beautiful little alignment, people are getting into position and I'm sitting there, on the runway, coming down into position.
About to take off.
Yes, it were, so I want to thank you for this opportunity to share this, and I would just like to say that I'd like to work with you and with other people.
You already are, aren't you?
Absolutely, I'm thrilled. Thanks.
Thank you. More power to you.
And to you.
Sharing.
Hi, Bashar.
Hello.
I have a question about meditation.
Oh, what?
I'd like to know how I can open up more to in my meditations.
What are you doing now?
I'm using some audio tapes sometimes in the mornings and in the evenings, and then I'm also meditating on my own.
Do you like bells?
Yes.
Do you like tones?
Yes.
Do you like color?
Yes.
You like light?
Mm-hmm.
You like sweet scented breezes?
Yes.
You love animals?
Yes.
You love trees?
Mm-hmm.
You love water and all of nature?
Yeah.
You like mountains?
Yes.
Like to climb on rocks, let them support you and uplift you to the sky?
Yeah.
Can you imagine leaping off that mountaintop, spreading your wings like a bird and flying and soaring, floating upon the breeze? Can you imagine these things?
Mm-hmm.
Then do you not see that you have the primary tool right in your imagination to take you wherever, however, whenever you wish to go?
Yes.
Do you not trust that your imagination is the fundamental tool of all meditation?
I think I haven't been trusting myself enough.
No, all right. You can, Paint a pretty picture. Then live in it. Really. How's that?
I like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Shooting!
Sharing.
Yay!
That's what I want to do tonight.
By all means.
I want to share an experience I had. At the same time, everybody went to Mount Shasta.
Yay.
On May 30th, when the people were in Mount Shasta, I had a very beautiful experience. And mine was in a restaurant in Thousand Oaks. My experience changed me and the way I felt about myself.
Thank you.
I felt like a failure all my life.
Yay.
I've always created the fear of failing in any situation, any task, or with any person.
All right.
I wanted to try so hard.
Yay.
I'd stumble and fall and hurt myself.
All right.
I've always been awkward and slow, and my parents thought I was dumb.
All right.
And my classmates would call me stupid.
All right.
I couldn't stand tall because I didn't feel tall. I would hunch my shoulders. Even if I'd accomplished something, I could not accept praise because I'd think I was just lucky, and next time I'd fail, and I would. And if any moment I felt powerful and joyous, I knew it wouldn't last, and it didn't. I didn't know how not to know that, or to know I could know something else. And that was what my friend Vita, who sees into past lives, helped me change, because I saw the past life experience where I had drawn the conclusion that I was a failure. She said, I see you standing on a sandy desert all alone. You are like a sparkler, but there is a flame in front of the sparkles. The flame is getting larger and is engulfing you. You let it. You decided to stop the flame so it would not destroy your people. You stopped the flames by letting them engulf you. You believed you knew how to do this. You went forth into the flames. You did it. Do you understand that you did it? Because you believed that doing this would prevent destruction by fire ever again. And when you incarnated into the following life, you came in at the time of war, flames, and destruction. You drew the conclusion that you had failed. I could see the picture in my mind, and I knew and know it is true. You did not fail, as she said, and as she said this, she took hold of my hands. I felt such love and energy coming from her. I started to cry. I'm not a failure. Then I got the most beautiful feeling of joy and relief. I started to cry because she saw how I felt all my life. I couldn't explain the feeling to anyone, and it wouldn't go away. Then I saw that life. I saw how I was dressed, and I was standing in front of my children saying goodbye and telling them I would not be back, and what I had to do. As I walked across the desert alone, I knew I would stop the fire. I knew it was an evil energy that would destroy my people. I saw the fire coming and prepared myself to stop it, and I walked into it. I felt the fire go up my spine, into my jaws, and then a great pressure building in my head. Then an exhilarating, joyous feeling of bursting out the top of my head with immense energy. Then I came back to now. I felt so light and airy, and like a July 4th sparkler with sparks coming out of my little fingertips. When Vita and I walked outside, it was dark, no moon, but the sky had a beautiful rosy glow, and the stars looked like diamonds in the sky. It was clear, and so was I. I felt I could see behind objects such as stop signs and street lights. I could see the other side. Vita said, "You are perceiving in the fourth dimension. I feel love for every creature on earth. You know how you feel when you have done a job and you've done it well, and you say to yourself, 'Job well done'? That's the way I feel. I feel like that now. I know I'm not a failure anymore, thanks to my lovely friend, Vita, and myself."
We thank you for your anthem of old earth. We thank you for the discovery of the bright light within you. We thank you for letting it shine in your life and illuminate the path and the changes that you have helped create. You have had an impact, and the transformations that are occurring upon your chosen world of your birth reflect all that you have ever done to serve it, and it loves you back, as do we. We thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bashar.
At this timing, allow us to ring with the tone of the interconnected spaces, the tone of the substance you hold dear, the tone of the reality and the dreams you prefer. You are the key. Turn in the lock and open. We extend our unconditional love and will never tire of telling you how much we appreciate your choice to be who you have chosen to be. You are a great gift, and we cherish you. We thank you. Exciting dream life to all, and to all a good night.